How was I able to get to $100,000 invested by the age of 26? Just for context, currently I'm 27 years old. I hit $100,000 last year in 2024. I'm just making this video because I wish that when I was younger and I started getting into investing, I wish I seen a video like that kind of to motivate me or open my eyes. So if this could motivate a few people, or if you're younger or even if you're older and this could open your eyes on investing and the power of compounding, then my goal has been reached. I'm happy. And another reason is because I'm sure a lot of people have similar situations as me where their goal is to hit $100,000 in their portfolio or maybe a certain amount. And they're just, they're just getting there, or they're not too sure if they're doing the right thing. I mean, I'm just making videos to show you that this is what I did. I didn't do the best thing, but I got there. I wish I would have seen a video like this, or I had the knowledge that I have back then. I just checked like on paper before making this video. And since I started making money, good money to invest, whatever, it took me about 8 years to get to $100,000 because I was not consistent and serious with my investment. If I knew what I knew right now, it would have probably taken me like 2 to 3 years max to get to $100,000 from zero without even like living that frugally. Let's get into it. So I'll just talk about like 5 things that you can do right now to really help build your portfolio to $100,000. Or if you're at $0, I mean, you could just start from here and apply those principles, those ideas or whatever. I can guarantee you that you'll hit $100,000 in 2-3 years, max. First things first, I mean, if you're a student, this can't really apply to you because that's your end goal as a student, but you need to make more income. So if you're not making a lot of money right now and you're older, if you're in your 30s or 40s, and you're not making a lot of money and you're seeing this video, I know it's hard, but I think that the best thing you could do is, I mean, there's so many resources right now. You could just like get a certificate or buy an online course or like get a kind of an online degree, something while you can keep working to pay your bills. And then you can switch in another industry that pays more. And there's a lot of good paying jobs that don't have a big barrier of entry, where the only barrier of entry is you taking a course or you learning something. And a lot of people don't do that. If you just take that extra step, you will get out of your situation and you can change your life around and make a little bit more money. And then with that extra money, instead of buying a nicer car or whatever, just keep living the same way. But that extra money, you'll be able to invest. You really need to make more income to be able to invest to a certain degree. I mean, it is okay to invest only $500 a month. If you would be making $20,000 a month, what would stop you to live like a normal lifestyle and invest $15K a month, for example? Your investments would grow so much faster than if you would just invest for 20 years with $500 a month, for example. If you're a student, I mean, just finish school, whatever, get your job, and then from there start investing. But if you're currently working and you're not having a high paying job, go online, do research on what are the highest paying jobs in your area or in your country. And then from there, try to look at what's the barrier of entry. Like, is it just I have to go to school for 2 years? Can I just like do an online course or online degree or certification and then get a job from there? Like, there's a million different options out there. You just have to look, do a bit of research. You don't have to make 500K a year. Like, you can, if like when I'm saying you're not making a lot of money, like if you make 50K a year, you can easily find something that would pay you 75 to 80K. So just do a bit of research and try to find that. Then second thing is, when you're making more money, stay frugal. So me, I started working as a clerk in a pharmacy. So I was working only on the weekends, like when I was in school, just to make a bit of pocket money so I could like spend, like do activities or go out, whatever, and not have to ask money from my parents. And I was making $150 every 2 weeks paycheck, which was nothing. And I was not making a lot of money, but what I was doing is every time I was getting a paycheck, I would just take my calculator and do 0.66 times my paycheck, and that amount I would put in my savings, and the rest of the money I would just keep for myself to do anything. And that money I could waste it on whatever I want, and I didn't care. Whatever money you're making right now, you have to save a big portion of it to be able to invest aggressively right now to then live nicely when you're older, right? Like, what's the point of having the nicest car at 22 years old or at 25 years old if you can't really afford it, and all the money you're throwing in that car, you could have been investing it for an extra 5 years or whatever, and you could just hold back and drive like a normal car. And then when you're actually 30, those investments will grow so much that you can actually afford that car and drive it, and you actually afford it. So you have a nice car, you have a lot of money, you're not even stressing about paying for that car. Like, you can pay it out any second, or your portfolio is generating more income than your car payment is, for example. So try to stay frugal, like get away from the trap of like flexing and everything. I know it can be hard, especially when you're young. For example, I live in the suburbs. On my day-to-day basis, I don't see like those type of things that kind of appeal to me. Every time I'm in downtown, I see a lot of young people, or even in their 30s or in their 40s, and they have crazy cars. And I'm just there driving like beat down car at the moment, and I could afford a nice car, but I'm holding back, and it takes a lot because I love cars. But I know that if I hold back right now, my portfolio will be able to pay for my car in the future. My portfolio will give me a much better life. And also, like, just think about it, that what do you really need in life? Like, do you really need a nice car? I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I love sports, you know? So I know that what would bring me happiness in life later would be honestly to be like working, semi-retired. I would have a job that's paying me, but I would also have like my portfolio or whatever passive income on the side that would generate me a nice chunk of income. I could just quit if I wanted to, and I would just be working out of passion and having more free time for myself, and go for runs every day and go to the gym as much as I can, travel. That's what would bring me more happiness than, you know, messing up my future and my freedom in the future just to have a nice car at the moment that looks cool when you're driving and when you're passing in front of people, and those people are freaking strangers. At the end of the day, your parents don't care if you have a nice car. Your girlfriend don't care. I mean, if she cares, then you have an issue. But like, people who really care about you and people you love, they don't give a shit about what type of car you drive, right? Try to be as frugal as possible. Yes, you have to enjoy life. That's the thing, is like, for me, like that 66% of that I was saving, with that 30% that was remaining, I was still able to like pay for stuff. And right now that I make a lot more money, I leave myself enough money so like I could buy food, I could go out with my girlfriend, go out with my friends, like think about paying my credit card. I know I have enough money for that. I'm still investing a big chunk of money. So the money I have to invest goes into my investments, and the rest of my money, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I could spend it on upgrading my car, could spend it on dinners, whatever. So really, be frugal, have a budget for living your life and enjoying, but also make sure to invest as aggressively as possible, especially if you're young. So third point is have recurrent investments. So treat it as a bill. I think that's the biggest hack that people don't understand, is that consistency always beats motivation. You might be motivated for a month or two because you watched a YouTube video about a guy showing you that investing makes you rich, and you get into it, you invest for 2 months and the S&P goes up 1%. The month after it goes down 2%, and then you're like, oh damn, I'm throwing my money in the markets and it's not giving me the returns I wanted to. So I could have just spent all that money on a nice car, or I could just keep it in my savings account. And that's where you go wrong, is that you have to invest every month like it was a bill. So like, you have a $500 car payment, you have to pay every single month on the same day. It's the same thing for investing. You make money, you take that, whatever, how much you want to invest. Let's say you want to invest $1,000 a month. You're going to invest $1,000 a month, regardless of tariffs, regardless of the news, bad news, good news. You're just going to throw $1,000 in the market every single month without looking at the market, basically. And that's how you'll take advantage of the compound interest. And over the years, that money will grow. And also, coming back to my first point, you're going to basically build good habits, good spending habits, good investing habits, paired with being frugal. And when you get more income, instead of spending more of that income, you'll have extra income. So you'll be that monthly investment amount that you decided, let's say 1,000. If you get a raise, if you get a promotion, you get a better job, you make more money, you start a business, you have a site, whatever that could be, you start a YouTube channel, you start making an extra $500 a month, and you don't really need that money because you don't really have bills. Then, like, aside from reinvesting in your business and yourself, all the money that you have left on the side, just throw it back and invest it. And now you'll be able to invest $1,500 a month for a few more years. From there, just the snowball goes crazy. And before you know, like, it's far ahead of you and your portfolio is huge. That was another point. Then something else that's really, really important. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that until they start investing and they start realizing that, is you have to do what works for you. The reason why I invest so heavily is because I found something that works for me, that motivates me, that keeps me investing, keeps me wanting to invest more. And me, for that was dividends. The reason why my portfolio blew up in 2024 is because I think before, from all my internships, my previous jobs, whatever, I think I had probably like 20 to 30,000 in my stock portfolio. And then in 2024, I just did research and I was like, I love passive income, because I did a few businesses before that earned me passive income. And from there, I just got hooked. And the easiest way to get passive income is to throw your money in dividend stocks or ETFs or or like covered call ETFs, stuff like that. So what I did is in 2024, I went all in on dividends. It really works for me. Why? Because every month when I add money, regardless of if the market is up or down, I see that the dividend I received is higher than the previous month. So that's my motivation right there, is that, okay, if I invest this amount this month, the next month I'll get paid $10 extra. It just helps me reinvest, because every month I see that my income keeps going up, and it just feels like a second job where I just give myself a raise every single month. And I just know that this extra $10 a month today is going to get reinvested, and in 10 years, this seed that I planted will be paying me $100, $200, maybe $1,000 a month, just because today I decided to invest, and I do this every single month. So every single month it's just planting a seed, and in the future you're gonna have like a forest of passive income falling on you. And that's what works for me. And I even talk to my friends about it, and they're like, oh, I mean, what's the point of doing that? You can just invest in the S&P. I know a lot of people like that. I mean, these people, first of all, they don't have a lot of exposure to the market, so they don't understand that for some people, growth is not the most appealing thing. And anyways, you get growth with dividends. Like, that's just another debate. But some people, they want to be optimized. Like, I want full growth 100%, or else I'm not doing good. No, I mean, the point is not to beat the S&P. If you can match the S&P or be right under it, at the end of the day, you're doing something that you like enough for yourself to keep reinvesting. You're doing a good job. So you'll see, like, start investing. You'll talk with your friends about investing, and then you'll tell them I did this, and then they're going to tell them they did that. And everyone wants to prove that they did the best thing. But at the end of the day, you're the one investing for yourself. Find really a route that you like and stick with it. And that really helps you stay consistent, is pick something that you like. And I'm saying pick something that you like, but before picking something that you like, make sure you try everything, You need to try something to know you like it. So try growth, try dividends, try high yield covered calls, try single stocks, try whatever's possible. I don't know, all the other possibilities out there. Try all these ETFs that look cool, that you see on YouTube videos. Invest in a bit of them, and then you'll see after a few months how they look in your portfolio, and you'll probably be like, damn, I really like this one, I want to buy more. And then you just restructure your portfolio, whatever, and yeah, go from there. Last point is starting early. So I wish I started early. I started making quote unquote good money at like 19. So I was working as a store clerk for a pharmacy, and then at 19 I got my first gig as a programmer, because just for a little side note, I'm a software engineer. I got my first gig as a programmer at 19, and I was hired as a contractor, so my taxes were not held back on my pays, so I was getting the full amounts. And since I was young and I wasn't making any money, I did that gig for like 4 months. So I was able to make like under 15K. Where I am right now in Canada, in Quebec, if you make under 15K, you don't have to pay taxes at the end of the year. I was able to not pay taxes on that whole amount, and it was my first time like making like quote unquote good money without having any expenses coming from making $200 every 2 weeks. And I was able to stack up like $10,000, $15,000, and I didn't know what to do with my money. So I started doing research, like what to do with money. And that's how I found out about investing. But anyways, my point is that I was 19 and I invested in crappy stuff, and I invested in wheat stocks because it was about to be legal in Canada, and I lost everything. And then I invested in other good things, and then I sold, and then I bought, and then I sold. And then stuff happens in life, and then I sold, and then I bought again. And then I just know that if I would have started at 19 years old investing in stuff like the S&P and just putting like $500 every month or $200 every month, I would have been able to hit $100,000 at like 24, 25 probably, instead of 27 or 26. And I would probably have right now like close to $200,000 in my portfolio if I would have started investing seriously at 19 years old. So like, starting early is very, very important, but it's very important to start early doing the right thing too, because I started early and I bought some very crappy stuff and I just lost money, but I'm not regretting it because I learned my lesson. And even when it happened back then, I was still young, and I told my friends, and I even told myself, like, yes, I lost X amount of money, but I'd rather lose money now when I don't make a lot than not invest for my whole life. And then when I start making good money, I throw my money in the stock market like blindly or with no knowledge, and I lose everything. So that was my lesson. In the beginning, you will lose money. You will buy like the shiny objects, the speculative stocks, whatever. And that's normal. And you might make a lot of money or you might lose. But whenever you lose money in the beginning, just know that it's normal, and these are your lessons, and you take those and you build from there, right? Like $1,000 seems like a lot of money, which for you, you'd rather lose $1,000 there than make a lot of money and then lose 10K one shot because you never had experience in the past. Just to give a little summary, so I just said, first point is whatever you're doing, if you're a student, finish school, whatever, but if you're not making a lot of money and that's your career, really look into a switch in career. And there's nothing wrong with that. Leave your ego aside. The eyes of other people that are not close to you doesn't matter at all. Be frugal. So even if you start making more money, it doesn't mean you need the nicest car. You need to move up to the nicest apartment right away. Be frugal for a few years and your future self will be thankful. Set up recurring investments. So invest like you were paying bills. Every single month, invest the same amount of money, regardless of the market conditions. And that's how you build that snowball for the future. Another point was do what works for you. So if you like growth, do growth. If you like dividend growth, do dividend growth. If you like dividends, if you like income ETFs, high yield, whatever, a mix of everything. Play around and figure out what works for you so it's easier for you to stay consistent and just keep buying and buying those ETFs or those stocks. Yeah, last point, start as early as possible. Even if you're 40 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, just know that a lot of people right now are 60, 65, 70, and they're either retired and they're struggling, or they want to retire, but they can't because they don't even have 6 figures in liquidities in their bank accounts or in their investments or their retirement funds. It's never too late to start, even if you're 40 right now and you're seeing this video and you're like, damn, like this guy is 25 and he's already at $100,000. It doesn't mean anything, right? If you start at 40, I promise you that at 50, you'll be well off. But if you start at 40 and you want to retire at 60, 20 years is a lot for money to compound. So it's never too late to invest. Even just 10 years does wonders on your money. So they say that compounding is the 8th wonder or something like that. Yeah, compounding is crazy. That's basically it. That's how I got my first $100,000. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just trying to do something different where I just talk a bit about myself. I hope you guys liked it and I didn't talk too much and I didn't turn in circles and I was straight to the point. Until next time, take care, guys.